สวัสดีเช้าวันที่20วันนี้อาจารย์ที่หลวงก็อโลกาออกมาเดินเล่นกลับมาแล้วกลับมาถึงวัดแล้ว
Aloka walked beside the monks, making every step feel whole. Aloka's faithful steps, four paws upon the sacred ground. Aloka's faithful steps, where peace and loyalty are found. Through burning sun and pouring rain, through injury and weary miles, Aloka's faithful steps. The loyal heart that makes us smile. He limped sometimes when paws were sore, yet never once did he complain. His quiet presence healed the pain, turned dusty roads to joy again. In every town the children laughed, the elders smiled with knowing grace. The little dog who walked for peace had found his sacred place. Aloka's faithful steps, he taught us mindfulness in motion, unconditional love so deep. No words were needed, just his eyes, his gentle heart that never sleeps. From Texas plains to Washington, through 109 days of faith and trial, Aloka showed the world that peace can walk on four paws all the while. At Lincoln's feet when journey ended, his tail still wagged with quiet pride. The divine light that joined us early never once left our side. The long road tested every soul, but Aloka's love remained the same. A living prayer with every stride, the peace dog's eternal flame. Aloka's faithful steps after 2,300 miles of grace. Aloka's faithful steps, the loyal soul that lit our way.
ร้องอี
กินอะไรอ่ะ
กินเพื่อมันป่วยมีอาการป่วยหรือว่าท้องไม่ค่อยดีก็กินเอาเร็วต้องเรียนมาเร็วไปทำเร็วนี่ยายนะไป
อืมอืมอืมอืมอืมอืมอืมอืมอืม
There is a beautiful, quiet truth about the human experience. We are all, in one way or another, travelers on a very long road. From the moment we take our first unsteady steps, we are thrust into a lifelong journey of seeking. We seek purpose, we seek connection, and perhaps most universally, we seek a sense of enduring peace. Often, we look for this peace in distant futures or monumental achievements, believing it waits for us at some final destination. Yet, life has a profound way of sending us unexpected teachers to remind us that peace is not a place we arrive at, but a manner of traveling. Consider a story that unfolded on the sun-baked roads of Texas, a story of a group of monks walking across the country for peace. It is not just the monks who capture the imagination, but an unlikely guide who joined them on their sixth day, a small, stray dog. With eyes full of quiet kindness and a distinctive white patch shaped like a heart upon his head, this little dog, given the name Aloka, meaning light, stepped onto the road alongside them. This 2,300-mile journey from the southern plains to the steps of the capital is a perfect, living metaphor for our own lives. It invites us to look deeply into how we walk our own paths, how we carry our burdens, and how we might invite a little more light into our weary souls. When we first encounter Aloka on that Texas road, we meet a creature who has likely known the harsh realities of life. As a stray, a pariah soul, he must have known hunger, cold, and the instinctual need to protect himself from a world that can be unforgiving. Yet, the most remarkable thing happened when the monks walked by. He chose to follow them without a single word, leaving every fear behind. This is the first, and perhaps most difficult, invitation of mindfulness, the courage to step fully into the present moment by laying down the heavy baggage of the past. We humans are masterful storytellers, but the stories we tell ourselves are often woven from threads of old hurts, future anxieties, and deep-seated fears. We build walls around our hearts to ensure we are never hurt again, but in doing so, we accidentally wall ourselves off from joy, connection, and the vibrant pulse of life happening right here, right now. To leave fear behind does not mean we erase our memories or pretend that painful things never occurred. Rather, it means we stop allowing those past experiences to dictate our present reality. It requires a tremendous amount of bravery to look at an uncertain road stretching out ahead of us and decide to walk it with an open heart. When we practice mindfulness, we are training ourselves to notice when we are gripping tightly to fear, and we gently, patiently encourage our hands to open. We breathe in, acknowledging the old anxieties, and we breathe out, choosing to take just one faithful step into the reality of the present. Like that little dog with the white heart patch, we can choose to follow the light of awareness, trusting that the present moment is the only place where true life can be lived. As we step into that present moment, we begin to realize that the act of moving forward can itself be sacred. The image of Aloka's faithful steps, his 4 paws meeting the earth rhythmically alongside the silent monks, offers a masterclass in walking meditation. In our modern, fast-paced American lives, walking is usually just a utilitarian means to an end. We rush from the front door to the car, from the parking lot to the office, from the kitchen to the living room, our minds racing 10 miles ahead of our bodies. We are mentally drafting emails, rehearsing arguments, or worrying about the evening commute while our physical bodies are simply trying to get us across the room. But what if we changed our relationship to the ground beneath us? What if every step could be an anchor, returning us to the sanctuary of the here and now? Mindfulness in motion teaches us that the ground we walk on is sacred, not because it is hallowed by history, but because it is the exact place where our life is happening. When we bring our full attention to the sensation of our feet touching the earth, feeling the shift of our weight, the texture of the pavement or the softness of the grass, the rhythm of our own breathing, we quiet the chaotic chatter of the mind. We do not have to be on a 2,300-mile pilgrimage to practice this. We can practice it walking down the aisle of a grocery store, pacing the floor with a restless baby at 2 a.m., or walking the dog around the neighborhood after a long, stressful workday. By letting our steps become faithful, deliberate, and rooted in awareness, we transform our ordinary, mundane routines into acts of profound grounding. We stop skimming the surface of our lives and begin to sink deeply into the richness of each moment, making every step feel whole. Inevitably, however, the road of life brings weather. The journey from Texas to Washington was not walked entirely in perfect springtime breezes. There was the burning sun, the pouring rain, the exhausting miles, and the physical toll of sore, limping paws. Yet, the story tells us that this little companion never once complained. His quiet presence simply absorbed the difficulty, turning a dusty, painful road back into an experience of joy. This brings us to a fundamental truth about human suffering and the alchemy of acceptance. Pain, whether physical or emotional, is an unavoidable part of a full human life. We will experience loss, sickness, heartbreak, and failure. However, in mindfulness, we make a crucial distinction between pain and suffering. Pain is the raw data of the experience, the sore paw, the sudden rainstorm, the grief of losing a job or a loved one. Suffering, on the other hand, is the extra layer of mental anguish we add to the pain through our resistance. We suffer when we argue with reality, demanding to know why it is raining, resenting the sun for being too hot, or feeling victimized by the blisters on our feet. We say, "This shouldn't be happening to me," and in that resistance, our pain multiplies. Acceptance does not mean we like the pain, nor does it mean we resign ourselves to a bad situation if we have the power to change it. It simply means we stop fighting the reality of what is happening in this exact moment. When we can meet our pain with a quiet, spacious presence, acknowledging it with compassion rather than fighting it with bitterness, something miraculous happens. The tension releases. We realize that we are vast enough to hold both the ache in our bodies and the beauty of the sky above us. By refusing to let complaints and resistance harden our hearts, we allow our innate grace to heal us from the inside out, discovering that we can limp and still experience profound joy on the journey. This gentle acceptance and inner quietude does not merely heal the individual, it naturally spills over, creating a ripple effect that touches everyone we encounter. As the monks and their small, faithful dog passed through the towns dotting the American landscape, something shifted in the atmosphere. Children laughed, and elders smiled with a knowing grace. A little dog walking for peace had found his sacred place, and in doing so, he created a sanctuary for others. We often think of peace as a solitary endeavor, a quiet state we try to achieve alone in a silent room on a meditation cushion. But true mindfulness is inherently relational. Human nervous systems are exquisitely attuned to one another. When we walk into a room carrying stress, anger, or frantic energy, the people around us subconsciously brace themselves, their own stress levels rising in response. Conversely, when we cultivate a genuine, grounded peace within ourselves, we offer a profound gift to our communities. A peaceful heart is contagious. When we have done the inner work to soothe our own fears and accept our own pain, we naturally become more patient with our spouses, more present with our children, and more compassionate toward strangers. We stop reacting reflexively to the irritability of others and instead respond with a steady, stabilizing presence. We become the person in the busy office or the crowded supermarket who radiates a calm that gives others permission to relax. Inner peace is not a retreat from the world. It is the most vital public service we can offer. By walking our own path with a loyal, open heart, we inadvertently light the way for our neighbors, reminding them of the joy and grace that is always available when we slow down and connect. Perhaps the most striking aspect of this story is that the profound wisdom imparted by this little guide was delivered entirely in silence. He taught mindfulness in motion and unconditional love so deep, yet no words were needed. Just his eyes, and his gentle heart that never slept. In our hyper-connected, verbally saturated culture, we are conditioned to believe that every problem requires a complicated explanation, every silence must be filled with chatter, and every display of love requires an eloquent declaration. Yet, if we observe the animals in our lives, the dogs who rest their heads on our knees when we are crying, the cats who purr steadily on our chests, we remember the healing power of silent presence. Animals are the ultimate masters of mindfulness. They do not regret yesterday, and they do not anxiously plot out tomorrow. They are radically, completely here. When we are hurting, we often do not need someone to offer us advice, to try and fix our problems, or to offer empty platitudes. What we crave most is a witness, someone who will simply sit in the mud with us, holding the space with unconditional love. We can learn to offer this silent grace to ourselves and to others. When a friend is grieving, sometimes the most profound comfort is a quiet walk together or a hand held in silence. When we ourselves are struggling, instead of trying to outthink our anxiety with endless internal dialogue, we can try simply breathing and placing a hand over our own hearts. By stripping away the constant need for words, we tap into a deeper, more primal current of love. We realize that our mere presence, when offered with a pure and non-judgmental heart, is often the greatest medicine of all. Eventually, every long road reaches a destination, just as the journey from the Texas plains ended at the feet of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington. After 109 days of faith and trial, after 2,300 miles of grace, the journey paused. Yet, the story tells us that at Lincoln's feet, Aloka's tail still wagged with quiet pride. The divine light that joined the monks early on had never once left their side, and despite the road testing every soul, the little dog's love remained exactly the same. This is the ultimate promise of a mindful life. While the external circumstances of our lives will constantly shift, journeys will begin and end, seasons will change, and we will move through phases of great joy and deep sorrow. The peace we cultivate within can remain an eternal flame. Mindfulness does not promise us a life free of hardship, but it does promise us a refuge that we carry within our own chests. It promises that if we commit to taking faithful steps, if we choose to leave fear behind, if we meet our pain with grace, and if we love deeply and silently, we will build an unshakable core of peace. As we navigate the complex, beautiful, and sometimes overwhelming landscape of modern American life, we can look to this living prayer as our guide. We may not be walking across the country, but we are all walking through the days of our lives. May we walk them with our eyes kind and our hearts open. May we cherish the sacred ground beneath our feet, whether it is a tiled kitchen floor or a woodland path. And may we remember, in every moment of doubt or weariness, that the loyal soul of peace is always there, waiting just an inhale away, ready to light our way home.